night. Otra vez. Come here. Let me tell you something. I remember Tampa, the way she used to be, the places we would run to, the faces we would see. Yes, I remember Tampa, those precious memories, a city rising on the move, a simple yet progressive groove. I remember Tampa, and she remembers me. Yeah. She remembers me.
Welcome to the Tampa Natives Show. Stay tuned now for the fastest 60 minutes in cable broadcast history. Live from the studios at TBCN, the home of the Tampa Natives Show. Join your hosts, Mario Nunez, the 15-minute girl, and Steve Canella, as they celebrate growing up in Tampa. From Shock Armstrong to Shakey's Pizza, from Braddock Street to Buffalo Avenue. Get ready to call in and tell us your stories, because sharing your memories has never been this much fun. And now, Mario Nunez, the 15-minute girl, and Steve Canella.
She remembers me.
Hi, Tampa Native Show fans. Welcome to this, your Thursday night, 7 o'clock edition of the Tampa Native Show. My name is Mario Nunez, and as always, I'm seated alongside my broadcast partner,
Steve Canella.
Tampa Steve, and next to me,
Sally Nunez.
our very own 15-minute girl. And you're in for a special, special treat tonight, as tonight's show, Steve, we've been talking about it all week, is all about...
It's all about the Tampa Native experience. And
Your Tampa Native
Yeah, and what that
experience.
means to you.
the essence of being a Tampa native. You know, when we talk about our history here on the show and amongst each other, ourselves, and when we're together in company, we talk about what it means to be a Tampa native. Well, tonight we want to hear from you, our fans, exactly what that means to you.
Because we know it means different things to different people.
It sure does.
You know?
And they're
all
all
grew up in
special.
different places.
And they all need to be validated. And tonight's your special night. So when we go to the phones, we want you all hard by your phones and ready to make those calls. And a little special tonight, I think a little special twist. When you do call in, let's try to keep those calls brief so that way we can get as many calls as possible. Also, don't forget to give us your Bolita number, because we're going to be giving away gifts here at the end of the show, as we always do. And another special
That's special.
a lot of special, and another special bit of information we're going to ask you for. You know, Steve, into the next season, when we start our next season, which will be our 13th, can you believe it?
I can't believe it.
Okay,
Amazing.
13th
No.
season.
4 years.
Of live broadcasts. We have the unique opportunity here at TBCN, working with management here, to set the time and the date for our replay.
That's great.
Currently, our live production is at 7 o'clock on Thursdays, and our replay is, of course, 7 o'clock the following Tuesday. But we also understand that 7 o'clock poses special challenges,
Right.
because maybe you're not home, you're not settled in front of your TVs.
Cooking dinner.
And maybe you miss that live broadcast, and sometimes you have a difficult time even seeing the replays, and you got to catch it online.
Online, yeah.
Well, the show has a little different experience when you're watching it on TV than when you're watching it in front of your computer. It just does. We want you guys to have the opportunity to watch it at your leisure, comfortably seated in your favorite chair in front of your TV. Those 50-inch widescreen monstrosities.
Exactly.
Some
I
are
can't
even
even
bigger
imagine what we look like in a screen that big.
Scary.
But when you call in tonight, give us what it means to you to be a Tampa native. Also, give us your Bolita number, and then tell us the day and time. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, perhaps 10 o'clock. What's the best time for you to watch the replay? Then we'll compile that information.
Yep.
We'll do it democratically. The date with the most responses and the time with the most responses, that's what we'll suggest
Right.
to management here at TBCN. So you're going to have an integral part in deciding what day and time the replay of our show goes. Guys, are you ready for this show tonight?
Ready.
I'm
It's
ready.
going to be amazing. We're going to ask for your calls in just a couple of minutes. Before we do, as we always do, let's get to some of the things right up at the top.
Some of the house cleaning, right?
Some of the house, as we say, housekeeping here.
right?
We
Well,
want to
that
make
too.
sure. Let me say at the outset that this Sunday's meeting of the crew of Tampa, and for those of you that have been following us, we are currently in the process of gathering a group of people that are interested in participating in all things Gasparilla as a member of the crew of Tampa Natives. Well, we meet the second Sunday of every month, as we did last month, and this Sunday forthcoming is the second Sunday in March. However, our clubhouse, if you will, King Corona in Ybor City, is not available to us. So we're going to have to push that meeting back 1 week. So those of you that are going to meet with us, that are planning on being there, just bear in mind that meeting is going to be pushed back to next Sunday, 11 to 12 o'clock. And Don Barco is gracious enough to open up the facility for us there at 11 o'clock before he opens to the general public so we can have our meeting. That's the Crew of Tampa Natives meeting has been pushed back to next Sunday. Also, big shout out and a hello to our sponsors. Stevie, you know our sponsors, without whom their generosity, their money, if you will, we wouldn't exist.
They keep us going.
So,
They really do.
and that those shifting sands are always changing. Sometimes we lose a sponsor and then we gain 2 new sponsors. We are grateful for each and every one of our sponsors. If you are out there watching and you know somebody that may have a business that would like to help us keep our show vibrant, keep our show on the air and moving forward, we'd love to hear from you. So thank you, one and all, to our sponsors and especially to our fans. Tonight we've got a special video. Steve, I'm going to let you talk to the video because Steve is our resident IT guy and he put the video together. Steve, tell them what they're going to see in a little bit.
Well, this is going to be very exciting. It's another rare video, and this is going to be Laurie Park Zoo. Laurie Park, early 1960s, probably 1962. You'll see Sheena the elephant, Monkey Island, the little train that goes around.
The little train is amazing.
Serengeti. And
yes.
Amazing film, of course, added with Mike Beluha's music. I Remember Tampa. Beautiful.
Our theme song.
Yeah.
So these are images that you haven't seen, just like our rare footage of Wellswood Little League, just like our rare footage of
National
1711 East Hillsborough Avenue, the National
Auto
Supermarket. Well, these are images that you probably haven't seen since the early 60s.
That's right.
So
we need some new rare videos, too. If you guys have some
That's a good
out
call.
there,
Good call.
we would love to see them.
Because you know what? Pictures are wonderful.
Yeah.
But video, that's a whole different element there. I mean, that's
and
that's
color
incredible.
video and color video as well.
That brings it to life. It really does.
Yeah.
So if you have that available to us, please let us know. Get word to us. Stevie, what's a good time to give them our email address?
It's a great time. In fact, it's goodtimes@tampanativeshow.com. Good times at Tampa. There it is on the screen for you. TampaNativeShow.com.
And darling, why is it good times?
Because that's what we do, and that's what we have.
We have good
At
times.
the Tampa Native Show. Good times. All right. I got a special hello and a special shout out to a Tampa native who's watching us tonight for the first time.
Great.
Ellie Peasley in South Tampa, representing South Tampa on Tacon Street. We know you're out there watching. We want to say hello. I heard from your boy today, yesterday, Scott Peasley. And Scott, many of you may or may not know this. Probably many of you don't know this. But Scott Peasley and I were the only 2 representatives hired from American Airlines back in 1984 from Tampa. And we went through training together. We didn't know each other up until that point because Scott's about 5 years younger than I am. He's a Plant High School graduate. But we've become fast friends and our lives have been kind of together, and we've been friends ever since we graduated flight attendant training. And his mom is watching us tonight. So, Ellie Peasley, this is for you.
Welcome.
Thanks for watching us, and out there on Tacon Street in South Tampa, representing
South Tampa.
South Tampa, darling. So we don't
My
have
neck
to.
of the woods.
That's right. That's right. Let's see, Stevie. I've got a bunch of stuff here. One more thing, and then we'll get to our callers. We'll start our show in earnest. Calling all dragons, Stevie. Calling all dragons. What do I mean by that?
Jefferson High School.
Jefferson High School. Class of 1974 is on the hot seat this year. They're going to celebrate 40 years. That's amazing.
Wow.
40 years, their 40th anniversary, graduating high school, class of 1974. They're having a reunion. Luis Rodriguez has kind of put some things together, and we've just started a new Facebook page. It's called, it's called Jefferson Dragons Reunite, Classes of the 70s. And what's nice about it is, class of 74 is going to let all the classes from the 1970s, from 73 all the way to 79, participate. So if you're out there watching us and you are, or you know somebody who is a graduate of Jefferson High School in that time period, the 1970s, we want to hear from you because it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be a good time. That's August 21st and 22nd, so we've got time. All right. Our public service announcements. That's our PSAs for the evening. Got a couple more. We'll save those for the end of the show. Tonight, we're going to be talking about what it means to each and every one of us about being a Tampa native. How special it is that we grew up here in this wonderful town that we know as Tampa, Florida, and descendants of those original people that came here to kind of carve a life for themselves. The cigar industry, we know, played an integral part in that. But beyond that, what does it mean to you? You know, some of us weren't born here. Some of us got here as soon as we could.
I got here as soon as I could.
And lucky for those people. But they have memories as well of what it is to be a Tampa native. So we want to hear from you guys tonight. We will start the ball rolling by telling you what it means to us, to kind of give you an idea of what we're talking about. And then we'll give you our phone number, and we know you guys are phones in hand and ready to dial. So, Stevie, you want to take the lead on this?
Yeah, I definitely will. You know, your memory or what it feels like to be a Tampa native, that's really thought-provoking. In fact, I know how I feel, but putting it into words was actually very difficult. But basically, generally speaking, to me it means it's a sense of a shared sense of history, but also a shared sense of community. So, like, you know, I can go anywhere in Tampa and run into somebody I know. Certain places in West Tampa, maybe King Corona, even in Ybor City. You can walk into a place like that if you're a Tampa native, and you'll know half the people there, and by the time you leave, you know the other half. And so it's almost like it's a feeling that you're not alone. You know, you're not alone. You have camaraderie with other people. You have a connection to other people, and it feels like one large family, really.
Very good.
Yeah.
So that's what it means to me, really.
It does.
Very good.
Yeah.
Darling?
Mine is very similar to that. It was just the smallness and the whole family feel of growing up in Tampa, and it was a slower time. You could be safe riding your bicycle wherever you want, any time of day, really. Walking, I used to walk everywhere. And we used to walk from my house, we used to walk to the Britton Theater every Saturday morning for the Saturday morning kiddie shows, and everybody that you knew was there. And riding the bus downtown to go to the Palace and the Tampa and the Florida Theater, that was pretty special. But yeah, it is and the neighborhoods too, because every part of Tampa had their own little neighborhoods, and they were special. It was full of kids all growing up together, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful time.
That sense of extended family.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you mine then. And to tag along with what Sally and Steve said, you know, I'll back the lens out a little bit, and I'll broaden that to say that arguably the 50s, post-World War II, the 60s, and even into the 70s, it was a pretty good time nationally. In other words, America was on the move. You know, the highway systems were being built, the airports were being built, the infrastructure. We were growing. There was, as they say, a chicken in every pot and a car in every driveway. It was good times. Well, it was that and a little bit more for us here in Tampa because, as I've said on the show many times, we had this all to ourselves. You know, the Martinezes did, in fact, marry the Gonzalezes, and the Coutros did, in fact, marry the Canellas, so that for 2 and even 3 generations, we organically populated the city. So it was not unusual for everyone to be literally an extended family member. And that sense of community led itself to safety, and you felt like everywhere you went, you knew somebody was looking after you, whether it was going downtown on the bus with your grandmother when you were little, or playing Little League games when West Tampa and Riverside and Palmacia were packed. I mean, it was the only show in town, so everybody showed up. It was an incredible sense of community. And I think when I look back, when I think about what it means to be a Tampa native, those special, and you know, that's not to say that this wasn't happening in Cleveland or in San Antonio or somewhere out west in Phoenix. I mean, I'm sure they had that sense too. But it was just a little bit different here in Tampa. And maybe it was because we were all interconnected, and the city was very, very small. I mean, we had Jamie Urso on here last week at point of reference. Jamie Urso was 3rd generation Tampa native who came from Tampa natives who came from Tampa natives. In other words, you know, when he moved out to the sticks, as he said last week in 1971, to Town and Country, there was nothing out there. Doesn't that seem bizarre?
It was the sticks.
And he was as far out as you
though.
could drive. So, but yet it still felt like a small town.
Yeah.
So that's what it means to me. Those times going to Highlight on Friday night as teenagers.
Great times.
Or playing your Little League games. Sleepless nights on Friday night because you couldn't wait to get up on Saturday morning because you knew you had a 10 o'clock game and you couldn't wait to get to Little League because everybody was going to be there to watch you play and you loved playing.
Or watch
Special.
cartoons.
Or watching cartoons.
And you know what? When Tampa natives get together, especially if they're meeting for the first time, they typically ask the same questions like, where'd you go to school? You know, did you play Little League baseball? Where? you know, do you remember Highlight, going to Highlight? Do you remember the Buffalo Bridge? I mean, so those are.
It locks you
We
right
all
in.
remember.
It
So
locks
all
you
of
right
us.
into a
Yeah.
special time and a special place.
Exactly.
And back then, let's face it, I mean,
We didn't have a lot.
and we didn't need a lot. We say this all the time on the show. You know, when we grew up, we didn't
didn't.
have a lot. We didn't need a lot. And today, an argument could be made that the kids have everything.
Too much.
But they have nothing. All right, we're not trying to be too
Let's not rain on
philosophical
their
here tonight.
parade.
But I just want to throw out there for your consideration. You know, there was always Palmacia.
Yeah.
There was
Sure.
always
Baked crust.
Culbreth Isle and Culbreth Bayou. But it seemed like even though those people had maybe nicer cars or a little better tennis shoes than you had, there wasn't a great disparity between
There
us.
wasn't.
We were
There
all
wasn't.
together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I went to school at Coleman and would have gone to Plan, and I mean, I didn't feel like I was that much different from those kids.
Yeah.
We were all together, and that was a special space. I don't know if you had that in Miami. I don't know if you had that in Jacksonville.
That's
I don't know
true.
if you had that in Pensacola, but we had it here in Tampa. So, all right. I'm waxing philosophic now,
You are,
Stevie.
sir.
Don't let me. I'll get misty-eyed. Don't get me started. Why don't you introduce the video?
Let's
That's
do
4
that.
minutes worth. When we come back on the other
fun.
side of that video, we'll go right to the phones.
That'd be fantastic. Let's
Thank
do
you,
it.
and thank you all for indulging me and letting me go off on a little bit of a.
And again, this is
storytelling.
early 1960s, Laurie Park, very rare video. You're going to love it, and all those who have been there during our childhood, you'll be amazed.
Go right back.
So watch
Laurie
it.
Park.
Watch it. You'll love it. Let's roll it, Becky.
I remember Tampa, the way she used to be, the places we would run to, the faces we would see. Yes, I remember Tampa, with precious memories, a city rising on the move, a simple yet progressive groove. Yes, I remember Tampa, she remembers me, walking through the park at night, beneath the moss-filled trees, children running, riding bike, footloose, fancy-free. I remember Tampa, those sweet, soft memories, the city that I call my home, the home from which I never roamed. Yes, I remember Tampa. She remembers me. I'm a Tampa native. Tampa native, can't you see? I will share my story with you to preserve its history. I remember. I remember. I remember. Oh, this love affair was bound to grow. Sailors behind that, don't you know? I remember Tampa. She remembers me. Tampa native. Tampa native through and through. Seen a lot of things go down here. Some things I never knew. Yeah, I never knew. Things I never knew.
I was clueless. You know, really is. No. You don't go yet. That's right. I'm close to clueless. It is. Remember, this guy knows all he needs. He's lost age. This guy knows everything. He'll sit there and talk to you for hours and hours. Right now. And now it feels. Come on, that's exciting. Come on, before you know it's something. we were younger and everything seemed new. We used to have a lot of fun, yes we did, no matter what we do. Sleeping days, long summer nights, going anywhere we pleased. This love I've always called my own, a love that I've always known, the city that I call my home, the home from which I never roam. This love affair was meant to be. Oh, I love her and she loves me. Yes, I remember Tampa. She remembers me.
Forgive me, I'm just a little misty-eyed. I mean, that train ride. How many of us as little kids rode that train and it was like magical when that little garage door thing went up and it was like there was nothing on either side of it. You could see around it, okay? Let's face it, okay? This was like a back lot at Paramount Studios. Everything was a facade.
Chain link fence.
But when that thing went up and you went through it and you were back there now with Monkey Island and they had the big water buffaloes in the back, you thought you might as well have been in the Savannah, not Savannah, Georgia. I'm talking about the Savannah in Africa.
The Serengeti.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Stevie. Who gave us that video?
That was Maria Williams Tripp, the daughter of the owner of National Auto Supermarket.
1711 East Hillsborough Avenue.
Thank you so much.
And thank you again, Mike Beluha, for that wonderful rendition of
Awesome.
I Remember Tampa. What a great song that is.
That was
so
fantastic.
now you get a feel for this, ladies and gentlemen. Now you know what we're looking at. Now we want to hear from you. This is your opportunity to give us a
turn.
call. Darling, want to give them that number?
Number is 813-977-6800.
813, there it is on your screen, 977-6800. Operators are standing by. Hello, Dory said she's waiting to hear from you. So give her a
Give us a call.
so that we can talk about your Tampa Natives memory and what it means to you to be a Tampa Native.
You know, we talked earlier about the connections, that being one of the good things about being a Tampa Native.
Absolutely.
But those connections go down many levels, actually. You know, if you drill down.
Sure.
One is the topic of food. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't leave this town and go talk to someone else about ropa vieja in another city.
Or a Cuban sandwich.
Anywhere USA, you can't do that, right?
Or a Cuban
In fact,
sandwich.
you probably can't even find a Cuban sandwich if you go 20 miles north of Tampa.
They think, what's a Cuban sandwich? It must be
Yeah.
a sandwich made by a Cuban fellow. It's a Cuban sandwich. They just don't understand the nuance and the subtleties and the intricacies, really, of what it is to be from here,
Exactly.
from Tampa.
Exactly.
You know, and somebody like Ferdy Pacheco comes to mind. You know, Ferdy was born in Ybor City, and nobody is more deeply ensconced and rooted in our history as is Ferdy Pacheco, and he's one of the oldest living members of that community. And of course, you know, we know about his illustrious career being the fight doctor and all those years he spent with the great Muhammad Ali, the champ. But I mean, somebody like a Ferdy Pacheco or an E.J. Salsinas, these people are living repositories of our history. And Steve and I were talking about it today in pre-production. It's incumbent upon us to make sure that we continue to tell these stories. And I know it, you know, without belaboring the point, but, you know, we keep telling the stories because we're hoping that they're sinking in, and we're hoping that we're inspiring you guys to tell
us
the
yours.
stories,
Yeah.
not only to us, but to your family members as well. You know, if you're not telling your grandkids, and we're all of age now that we could have grandkids, you know, if you're not telling your grandkids these stories, they'll eventually start to fade. And then you get into the category of, revisited history and revised history, and before you know it, things start to get kind of fuzzy. And we don't want that to happen here. So that's the main focus of the Tampa Native Show.
That's true. And you know what? We're at a critical juncture, really, generation-wise, I'm speaking.
I think you're right, Steve.
Because we
a
have
lot.
the generation before us, you know, they're still here, and that's a perfect opportunity to capture these stories from those people.
I think you're right.
But we are losing them quickly, as we've been finding out.
Without
Right.
question.
And then
Without question.
after they're gone, and after our generation's gone, the Tampa that we remember is gone. And thank goodness for a USF Library for doing what they're doing and creating the Tampa Native Show collection and preserving this in perpetuity, really.
And a little spoiler alert here. We're working behind the scenes very diligently in conversations with WMNF Studios, and we want to have some of their administrators and Ray Villadonga's been on
Yes, he
the show
has.
with us. And of course, Ray is, he's only been on the air at WMNF for 25 years.
That's all.
And we've been on the show with Franco Silva. But we're reaching out to WMNF, but hopefully, fingers crossed here, that we'll get an opportunity to maybe pitch a show on their station, because then that would broaden
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
our
That'd
be
megaphone
great.
a little bit and give
Yeah.
us an opportunity to reach out
That would be
to a wider
wonderful.
audience that may not be able to see us here on TV. But the show would work, I think, on the
Absolutely,
radio.
the show would work on radio.
We lose a little bit of the visual component, but the conversation would be just as viable.
Yeah.
And again, we can record all of those shows into perpetuity, so
That's right.
for generations to come.
And guys, also keep in mind, we do have some photos tonight to show, and looks like we got a call already too.
Yay.
Wonderful. While the
Yeah.
call's getting qualified, you want to call for
Let's
an
do
image?
that.
Let's call for an image.
Yeah, let's do
Absolutely.
that. In fact, Becky, let's pull up our sheet here, and let's go ahead and start with photo number 1. No, actually, photo number 0. So we started
Because
at 0.
it's better than number 1.
That's right.
Number 0. What do we got going on here, Steve?
Well, this was great. This is when the group just formed.
Yes,
This
it was.
before the show, actually, wasn't it?
Yes.
And at the Columbia restaurant, we had a group of Tampa Natives, as you can see, all identified by their
Tampa
their
Native
shirts.
shirt.
Those fancy guys laying down there on the bottom on the floor there. What's going on there?
And that was a blast. We had a great time.
Two wild and
Big
crazy
turnout, as you can
guys.
tell. And from there, it just kind of grew and grew. And there you go, about the connections. That's a perfect example of the feeling of being a Tampa native right there. I mean, the picture is perfect. It says 1,000 words right there.
It does. And that was in the Andalusia room at the
Andalusia.
Columbia
Fun day,
restaurant.
I love
We had
that
a
room.
wonderful meal. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was even before the show. Was that not, Steve?
It was.
It was before the
You
show.
mentioned that earlier.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was before the show. So, we've been at this for a little while. Steve created that Facebook page back in 2009. Steve?
That's correct.
2009 or
2000
2008?
2009.
Okay, 2009. That's where
I'll
we
go back
met.
and look at my
That's when
records.
we met.
Okay.
Right. And then,
Right.
and shortly thereafter, as the progression goes, we met.
You had the experience with the show?
We had an event. We brought people together, and
Well,
then
that was an
and then I
event.
pitched the idea for the show with Steve, and we've been on the air now since September 10th. September 1st, 2010.
2010. And wow, we're in our 4th year. I cannot believe that at all.
I am ready. I'm ready for all callers, and I'm ready to go for another 4 years.
There you go.
You ready, Stevie?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go. Caller, you're on the air with the Tampa Native Show. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Mario Dale Kimball from Lutz, Florida, formerly from South Tampa.
Atta boy, how you
Dale.
doing, Dale?
Hey, Dale Kimball,
Good, number 56.
Number 56, as
I
if we
believe
didn't
we
know
have.
that.
we got you down.
And last week you got in a little bit late. I digress, but last week we chose number 60, and I said, well, that's got to
Yes.
be Dale Kimball. But Alyssa Governal
Somebody
snuck in there on you,
snuck in
pal.
on
So,
you. Yeah.
all right, what do you got to say for yourself tonight, Dale?
I mean, I had the same tears of joy in my eyes when I was watching that video with you, Mario. I mean,
That's good.
wow.
That's
That's
good
good.
to hear. That's great to hear.
we used to go from Sunset Park down near Sally's neck of the woods.
Sure.
Yes.
Drove up, I don't know where we drove, but we drove up. It seemed like forever to get to Lowry Park. I mean, we had to drive up
Yeah.
Austin Beach, and you had to
Yes.
go
Austin
on
Beach.
these side roads. There was
Sly Avenue.
And we got there, and thank God my father, Mark Kimball, he's still in South Tampa with Mama. He would work as in the concession booth, and it was run by the Sertoma Service Club. These young men, and it was great because Daddy worked there for many hours on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. And guess who got to go play in the whole park for, I'm going to say 4, 5, 6 hours? It was the best thing since sliced bread for us.
Yeah.
What a
That's
lucky
great.
kid. What a
Yeah.
lucky kid you were, Dale.
And to see that airplane again.
I know. The gray bomber.
Fire truck.
The fire truck and the little train. Come on, man.
The fire truck, I think, is over in Seminole Heights playground over there on the corner of
Sly in Florida.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Florida and Sly in that area or further south?
the Florida side. That's where I think that's the same fire truck is right there in that playground, and you drive right past it. And that airplane, I think the story went when I was a kid. It was from like Sky King or something.
Really?
Ah,
Like that.
interesting.
Hey, listen, and even if it's not true, brother, we make
It's
it
a
up here
great
on the Tampa
story.
Native Show. Because you know what? It makes for a good
It
story,
does.
man.
It sounds good.
But
great.
I'm telling you, to see that duck playing the piano again.
Yeah, how about
Remember
that?
that?
Yeah.
And can I throw one more at you, Dale? Because I know it wasn't there on the video, but I know you're going to remember this, man.
I already know what you're thinking.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to talk about. How about when we used to put 50 cents in, maybe
Oh,
it was a
get the
quarter,
little- yeah.
and that machine would pull those two molds together, man, and it would be
The wax.
injected with hot wax, and we could either pick, it was either a dolphin
gorilla.
or a gorilla
Yeah.
or some other animal. And we'd have to walk around for the next 15 minutes with it, holding it upside down
If it was
while it
flaming
cooled.
hot.
Because if we turned it right side up,
would
that
fall
gorilla
over.
would morph into something otherworldly. Do you remember that?
Oh, man. Simpler times.
Castle. You remember the castle? What was in the castle, Mario? Do you remember?
I
Wasn't
don't.
it a gift shop? And wasn't on one side, didn't they sell, wasn't it like a concession stand?
Shop with the toys in it. And
Right.
King Arthur's Castle.
It was magical. When you went over the bridge there, and the Rainbow Bridge, and it dropped you into fairyland, it was magical, man. We were little kids. That was before the mouse. That was really before all the spectacular things that came after Disney World. But, you can get lost in there. That's beautiful. Dale, thank you so
Thank
much
you, Dale.
for touching our hearts with that story tonight. That was good, and we're glad that it got to you like it got to us. All right.
Share that video with my children and say, "This was my Disney World."
There you
Attaboy. Hey,
That's exactly
there
right.
you go, pal.
Yeah.
There's the first bell ring of the night. Now listen, give us your bolita number 56.
We got that.
How about the replay, Dale? What day and what time would be best for you
The replay.
of our
the
show?
show.
If you could wave a magic wand and say, "Man, Mario, I'd love to watch your show Saturday night at 9 o'clock." Don't let me put words in your mouth, Dale. But if it happens to be Saturday at 9, tell me that. What day and time would...
Great. Something like that, because right now, anytime now, the door's going to open and they're going to say, you need to take care of family needs, like come to dinner.
Right,
Yeah,
see?
that's
See?
true.
And we
Yeah.
understand that. We mentioned that
Yeah.
at the top of the show. We understand the 7 o'clock hour is challenging, and we face that here because we don't have any options in a live
Yeah.
format. But the replay can be any time. So what say you, Saturday at 9?
That's perfect for me.
All
Okay,
right, Dale.
I'm gonna put you
let
down
me
for
put
that.
words in your mouth, and I'll do it every time. I promise you that. So thank you, Dale, for calling. We appreciate you.
Take care, Dale.
Take
you,
care,
Dale.
my brother. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's very funny.
Sometimes that little 7-second delay will get
Yes.
you.
Right,
You know,
right.
and I could tell he
little
was
weird.
watching himself on TV, which I would probably be doing too if
Oh,
I was home
absolutely.
calling.
It'll
It'll get you every time.
But it always works best if you step out of the room or just mute the TV and talk to us on the phone,
Yeah.
because that little delay makes it awkward at times. Got another caller, Stevie?
Great.
Let's grab it.
Let's see who it is. Caller, you're on the air with the Tampa Native Show. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hey guys, it's David Benito calling.
Hey,
Hey,
David
David.
Benito, how are you?
Very well. How are you guys tonight?
We're
Yeah,
doing great.
doing
Good to
excellent.
hear from you.
Good. Yeah. When you mentioned about those injection molds they used to have, they used to also have those in Busch Gardens.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. They had
That
the
was
con-
the thing.
Yeah.
That was the toy.
That was it.
take-home,
That was
yeah.
it. I mean, that was a big deal. Technology being what it was back in the
Yeah.
early '60s. Whoever had the commission, the concession for selling those machines,
Yeah.
made sure they hit Busch Gardens, they hit Lowry Park.
them all.
Not
And-
only did you have to hold them upside down, but they stunk for that first 30 minutes.
Yes.
too.
It did.
Now, see, let me
That's a
stop
memory
you
in
right there,
itself,
Davian,
the
because
smell.
one man's stink is another man's perfume. Some people hate the smell of cigars, but my grandfather smoked cigars, and I love my grandfather. So when I smell a cigar, it's kind of it's a comforting smell for me. But I get your point,
Yeah.
because whenever I smell that hot molded plastic, I'm immediately
Taken
transported
back,
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I don't remember Lowry Park too much because I'm a little younger than you, but
Easy,
I
easy, partner.
I have vague memories of going there, but I was more of a Busch Gardens kid. But
Yeah. Well, Busch Gardens was great too back then.
Speaking of cigars, that made me think of a story that my mom used to tell me, and it works in with the Lenten season that we're currently in. My father, my relative on my mother's side, I believe worked in the cigar industry. I don't know if it was in the factories or what, but he would give up cigars for Lent.
Wow, 40 days worth of giving up cigars.
Well, 40, but you could do it on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, so it wasn't told.
My mom would tell me it's about 11:55 on Saturday night.
He'd have that cigar in his mouth and ready to go.
He would sit in his chair, have the match in one hand and a cigar in the other hand.
Wow.
And at the
Good Catholic.
midnight, he would light that cigar. But
Oh my.
me too, I love the smell of cigars.
See, so it like I said,
Yeah.
treasure, trash, stink, perfume. You got to kind of qualify it a little
vary.
bit, because it means different things to different people.
Memories
But
for everybody.
we appreciate, thank you, we appreciate that. And give us your lucky bolita number.
46.
All right, 46. Some things never change. And how about, what would be a best day and time for you to watch this show if you could select a day and time for the replay?
This works out for me. This 7 o'clock. It's right when I get back from work, and after dinner, so it works out good.
Okay, you're messing things up, David. You don't understand how we do this. You got to change the time for it. No. We'll, if you say 7, 7 is good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what day? What day of the week?
I don't like, Tuesdays are good. That's right.
Tuesdays are good?
Yeah.
Very good. We'll put you down for Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Very good.
No.
Thank you so much.
I got you for 7.
All right, guys.
It's our show, Davey, and you know that.
Yeah.
Thank
We
you
love
for
you, buddy.
calling.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
calling.
All right, thanks. You have a
Take
good night.
care.
Thank you. Take care. That's the great Davian Benito. You know,
Yes.
and he always calls because he's one of our biggest fans.
Yes.
Oh, he's great.
He loves
and
the
his
show.
calls are
and he,
always
and he's
good,
a
too.
and he's a stone
He has
cold,
great
dyed in
memories.
the wool,
Yep.
Davis Island, Tampa native, and proud of it.
Yes.
And we're proud to have him as one of our fans. Hey, call for another picture.
Let's
big
do
guy.
that. In fact,
Lines are
Becky.
now open, so if you want to call, 813-977-6800. Stevie, call for that picture.
Becky, let's roll through a few more photos. Actually, we'll start with number 1 this time, and we'll go 2 or 3 photos
Sure.
ahead.
Oh, we're waiting for our next call.
Yeah.
Look
How
at
about
that.
You want to talk about that, Steve?
Tampa Stadium, I mean, this is before the sombrero, the big sombrero.
That was when both end zones were open. That was actually Tampa Stadium. That was
Tampa
the
Stadium.
original Tampa Stadium.
And Al Lopez Field.
Oh, look at Al Lopez Field, man.
What memories there?
We should still have
the big
that.
red
See,
machine. Remember
those
that?
two places no longer exist.
No.
So to have known both that version of Tampa Stadium with the open end zones and Al Lopez Field, and oh, by the way, if you were seated in the upper deck down the first base line at Al Lopez Field and you turned around, Stevie, trivia question for you, my Tampa native friend, what would you see?
If you turned around, you would see the big.
Wait,
Wait a
think
minute,
it
you
through,
see the
think it
stadium.
through, think it through. All right, I'm going to go through it again.
Okay.
Because
What
people at
part of
home
the
right now are
stadium?
yelling at the TV screen because they know. But I'm going to give it to you again.
First baseline.
Close your eyes.
Okay.
You're seated in the top row at Al Lopez Field, first base side. Watch me now. The game is here. And you turn around and you look behind you. What do you see?
First base side. Let me see. You know.
Look, that caller is calling in because
'Cause
they
they can't
know.
stand
So
it.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to disclose it. I know. I'm not
I
going to
don't know.
disclose it, but I'm going to wait.
I don't know.
I'm going to wait and let's see if this caller knows.
Okay,
Because
we'll
they
see.
got so emotionally involved in what I was describing, they went straight to their phone.
We
We'll leave
will
it there.
see.
We'll
I need
leave
the
it
help.
there.
I
I
need
know
the
the
help.
answer, but we'll hold off for just a minute while the caller gets qualified. All right, so Stevie, that shot, we used it in our opening.
We did.
Because I think that's one of those pictures, that's one of those images, visual
iconic,
image.
really.
Well, it's iconic, it's emotional, it draws you into a different time and space.
Immediately.
And it's almost like what we talk about at times when you're meeting somebody anew and you ask them, where they're from, and they tell you they're from Tampa, and of course you want to qualify them.
Right.
So what do you ask
They have to
them?
take the test.
What do you ask them?
Well, you say.
I mean, you ask them about Hutto's Corner, you say,
Yeah.
yeah, Hutto's Corner, that place that was on North Boulevard and Buffalo Avenue.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And if they look at you askant, oh, you got to tell them, hey man, I'm sorry, but you fail. You're not from Tampa, right?
That's right. That's
Okay,
the-
so that picture
multiple choice.
of Tampa Stadium and that picture of Al Lopez Field kind of brings you back to that time, man.
It does. Yeah.
It does, and it does it instantly too.
And I don't know, I guess you can say that that's probably happened somewhere else in the United States of America.
Probably.
I mean, if we talk to a Miami native, a Miami
Chicago,
resident who grew up
maybe.
in Miami, and, Wolfie's restaurant that used to be down
Oh,
there off of
I
the
remember
beach in South Beach,
Wolfie's.
maybe that building is no longer there. But if you talk
Yeah.
about going to Wolfie's and the delicatessen and having some of their wonderful
Deliciousness.
food,
I've been there.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
I have
I.
too.
That's what I brought up. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll go to our caller on line 5 and see if they know the answer, Stevie.
They probably
see
do.
if they know the
They
answer.
probably do. Probably.
Caller, you're on the air with the Tampa Native Show. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
This is Big Mike from Orlando, Florida, man.
Hey, Big Mike.
Big
He
Mike.
kno- he knows.
Hey,
Nice to hear
I know
from
you know
you.
the answer, brother. You want to go ahead and tell Stevie?
What's the answer to what? I can't.
Oh, okay, my Orlando friend. I'll tell you, and maybe we'll see if you're a Tampa native or not.
Oh, come on now.
Watch out.
All right,
we're
well,
putting
that's
you
what
on
I'm
the
saying,
spot
right?
here.
Okay, ready?
What is it?
You got to visualize with me, brother, so close your eyes. I'm going to take you right there.
There's nothing. You just tell me. What is it?
Here we go. You're sitting on the top row at Al Lopez Field on the first base side. You know where that little breeze comes through, where the little holes are there underneath the...
Right.
Okay? You're sitting there. You're watching the game, right? You're sitting. You can see the first baseman. He's right there below you on the first base side, right? Are you there?
Here, man. I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay. Turn around. What do you see behind you?
You.
No, not me. I mean, I'm there. But What do you? You're sitting in the stadium. Turn around, and what do you see behind you? You want me to tell you?
Yes.
Damn, tell me, man. I
All
don't
right,
know.
brother. You see the 20th Century Drive-In Theater screen.
yeah.
So if the game is a paquete because it's nothing to nothing and nothing happening, you turn
Yes.
around and you see
The drive-in.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I forgot about that.
Do you remember?
You used to go to 20th Century all the time, man.
All
Yep.
Tampa natives remember that because if the game got boring, it was kind of fun. You couldn't hear it, obviously, because you couldn't have a speaker there, but you could see the big screen. It was right there. Kmart wasn't there then. That was the 20th Century Drive-In.
Golden Triangle.
Yep.
That's right, man. That's good times. We used to stand outside to ride the bicycles up from Ivy Street, my buddy's house. Mm-hmm. Catch the balls when they came over, over outside in the parking lot and
That's
stuff.
how we entertained
Free of
ourselves
charge.
over the summer. We didn't have anything else to do. It was cheap entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? The whole thing with, Tampa is just, we all have it. It's just a whole thing of a feeling of just, my mom goes way back, family's way back in Tampa. It's compassion. It's kind of like very passionate about, our heritage. And,
Family.
Yeah.
and when somebody tells me, I'm from Tampa, you got to tell me here. And I say, really, what part of Tampa? 'Cause I know Tampa real well, I tell them, but man, I do. I know every alley in
He does.
the
Of course. That's why you're Big Mike.
No, not gonna hang out in the alleys, but
Well, we weren't suggesting you were hanging out in the alley being creepy or anything.
it's just Tampa real well.
Sure.
When somebody mentions a name, it's okay. It's either related to somebody or something else. My mother went to Hillsborough High School. I still got to find that yearbook because it might have been the same year as Steve's dad. I don't know, but it's just so related to each other in every way. And you went to Coleman, Mario. I went to Wilson, Junior High, which all the guys from the island and.
Sure.
Right.
And then they went to Plant after that.
That's right. So now I went to New Jersey, and I came back, and I went to Jefferson. So
Dragons.
it's both worlds. That guy David Benito calls, and I think I went to school with his brother, Lewis. Must be Lewis Jr.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys, Boggs days, Wade Boggs days, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That was the Gory Wilson Plant group, man, because they were all from the island and right there around the Bayshore district.
Yeah, and I don't know, and I had to fit in somehow because I'm in Ybor City, West Tampa, and here I am going to Wilson.
Survivor skills, brother. That's what that's called. Look at me. I was a Grady Coleman guy, so it was kind of the same thing. I was.
You have to fit in like a chameleon.
Yeah, I was an interloper from the north side of town. I didn't know what I was doing there, to be honest. But hey, it worked out.
Yeah, man, for sure. Love Tampa.
However, Mike,
Guys,
when you got to Jefferson and you realized that you were there then with all the other Fernandezes, Gonzalezes, Martinezes, didn't it kind of feel like?
I knew a lot of them anyway.
Yeah, but didn't it feel like you were more home?
Yeah, Tampa's always my home, man. And not as much. I haven't been there as much. You know that. But
You need to
anytime
come back.
I've been there over all those years, and somebody tells me, I start giving them a damn tour. See this cigar factory? See this or it? I just feel like home, man.
Right.
Even if it's down I-4, hit 275, whatever. But
Yep.
I can point everything out. And so many people over the years, I've told somebody so many times, I know this is this is that. I just love
Keep telling him, Mike.
I'll see.
They know,
Big Mike, I'll see you that, and I'll give you one more.
Okay.
Even when you fly in, even when you haven't been home in a while, and I say home to Tampa, and you fly in, and if you're coming in from the north, man, you're coming in over the land. If you're coming in from the south, you're coming in over the peninsula and the water. But when they pop that door open on the jet bridge, man, and that warm, salt
Humid
water,
air.
humid gets on you, you know
Mario.
you're home, man. You know you're
Back
home.
home again.
I worked the ramp, but I worked for different airlines as well. I know you were
Sure.
at Edison for many, many years.
Sure.
Yeah, I worked St. Louis, Ozark, and Altair when I did all these airlines stuff. So I was on that ramp. I knew that hot and humid,
Oh, yeah.
but salt air kind of thing by the airport,
Being home. It's just being home.
Love it, man. Gotta
It's
love
a
it.
feeling.
Well,
Well-
look forward to getting you that sometime soon, hopefully in August now. But,
You better
Yeah,
make it in
please.
August.
We
If
have to
not,
meet
we're
him.
going to come hunt you down. We know where you live in Orlando.
yeah.
Come be with us, man. We want to see you in August. It's
I
going to be
know.
a great reunion of a lot of great Jefferson Dragons. So come be with us.
You got that right.
Okay, give us your bolita number.
Yes.
Mine's going to be 42. My wife will be 23.
42 and 23 for Sherry. And
Yeah, Sherry Strawberry.
absolutely, Sherry Strawberry. And if you had a choice on the replay, if you were here locally, and I know you're in Orlando, but let's just play along, what day and time would be best for you?
Let's see. Probably about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
After we no, I'm only kidding.
Wait, you're still clubbing, brother? You're 55 like me. You can't be clubbing
He's
at
in the alley.
55.
No, I'm
He's
just
working.
Yes, I'm kidding. It's funny that I could actually do that, but no. I really don't know. My life is like I try to watch you guys as much as I can. You know that.
Sure.
try to stay in tune.
You got to watch us online in Orlando. Okay, so then we'll vote for you. We'll put down Saturday 9 o'clock. That's a good time. Saturday 9 o'clock for Big Mike.
Good choice, Mike.
All right, man. I love you guys.
Love you too, Big Mike. Thank you so much for calling. We always appreciate your calls.
Okay.
Take care.
Take care, Papa. Bye-bye.
Love when
Salute and
he
happy
calls.
days. That's wonderful.
We
What?
are at the 15-minute
way.
mark.
Come on,
No
we haven't even got through our
And I
our
need
photographs.
I need to wish a very happy birthday to a very smart and beautiful little girl named Bella Nunez. Today's her birthday.
Ah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Bella. And also, I would like to give a big thank you to Revolve Clothing in South Tampa because they're giving me my clothes to wear on the show.
Oh, nice.
How cool is that?
It's very cool.
Let's get a bell ring
that's
for Bella.
fantastic.
And let's get a bell ring for Revolve
Yes,
as well.
Yes.
Thank you, Revolve, for coming to our aid.
Yes,
Very
it's
nice.
wonderful.
That's nice. It's nice when we have sponsors that love
I
us
love
like that in the
clothes.
community.
Yeah.
Now we need a sponsor at a car dealership that's going to give us a car, and we need a. We'll
You
take
never
any
know.
sponsors, okay?
You
I mean,
never
listen,
know.
we're not doing.
You never know.
Thank you, Revolve. We really do appreciate
We
that. That's
do.
very
I
generous.
do.
That's awesome. Very, very generous. Thank you so much. Listen, you want to call for another picture?
Let's do that.
Let's
do that
run
real
through
quick.
a few of them, man.
Yeah, Becky,
Come on,
let's
we
do
don't
that.
wanna- we don't want to leave anything on the table.
Let's start for number 2 and just kind of go through a few here.
Yeah,
There
we'll
we
talk
go.
over them real quick and we'll knock them out. We've got a caller
Yeah.
on the line.
We sure
We'll
do.
come back to him in just a minute.
Another iconic image. Look at this.
Oh, Tampa Highlight.
You worked
we've-
there, didn't you?
We've covered this, and we can,
In depth.
and we'll do it again. And we'll do it again. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to work through Michael Fayado. If you're out there watching the show tonight, and we think you might be. You might be having dinner tonight at Kiki and Raoul's. We'd love to have you on the show so we can talk about Tampa Highlight. Yes, the next picture, please. This is the Hillsborough Drive-In, ladies and gentlemen. The Hillsborough Drive-In.
I remember going there.
I don't even know what to say except where have all the drive-ins gone? You know, the drive-ins were very, very special.
They were.
Back in the 50s and 60s and even throughout the decade of the 70s when it was still, we still had that love affair with our cars.
Yep.
Wow, they were special.
Mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes, we didn't care. Bring on the mosquito coil. We didn't care.
How about this one?
How about West Shore
Mall?
Plaza?
West Shore
How about
Plaza.
West Shore Plaza when it was only
right.
West Shore Plaza?
And it was brand spanking new.
In 1966. Penny's and Moss Brothers, of course, and that was just about it.
And that nice water fountain in the middle.
And Farrell's Ice Cream.
How about this?
Causeway.
Nice
the
simple
Causeway
scene.
Beach? Simple, simple time.
simple.
It's not even
and what do you
there
remember
anymore.
about those little casitas, Stevie? What do you remember about those
Well,
benches
the,
and
the
those
benches
tables?
were so hard that you had to bring your own
The
cushion.
benches were amazingly hard. If you
Concrete.
sat on the benches for
Yeah.
too long, your legs would fall asleep, and you could ruin a perfectly good bathing suit because it would pick your bathing suit
Yeah, it would
crazy.
shred your clothes.
Yeah.
But we didn't care.
No, we didn't
Look
care
at
at
that
all.
pine tree. Can we go back? How about the Tampa and the Florida Theater?
That says it all right there.
How about
Yeah,
that night scene
that
in
picture.
downtown Tampa circa 1950-51?
Wow.
Now, it's a little bit before our time, arguably,
Yeah,
but
look at
man,
the cars.
Very lively.
beautiful. Nobody there.
No.
Nobody
No.
there.
Lively time. Look at this.
Montgomery Wards,
Monkey
or as my
Wards.
abuela in Ybor City used to refer to it, Monkey Wards.
Monkey Wards.
Because she didn't speak a whole lot of English.
And that was Del Mabry and Spruce.
That was
Yeah.
Dale Mabry and Spruce.
Next door to Cash and Carry.
Where the Walmart is now.
Okay, how about this one?
Roboconni's.
Nightclub in it.
Talk about an icon. That was the place to go on Fridays and Saturday
it sure
nights,
was.
pal. And let me tell you, you better get there early because parking was tough.
It was tough.
And getting in, you had to stand in line at times.
Fowler and 30th.
And where's Mr. Roboconi now? Can we get
know,
him on
we
the
need
show,
him on the
please?
show.
I think he's in South America.
Yeah, he is. He's still opening clubs. He's still working in the club business, the circuit.
Freemax.
A date which will live in infamy.
It will.
November 18th, 1963, 4 days before the world changed and certainly before the United States of America changed forever. That's
car.
President John Fitzgerald Kennedy in the same vehicle he was assassinated in Dallas 4 days later,
Wow.
right in downtown Tampa. What an amazing photograph. Steve?
There's some
This
cheerleaders.
This is Hillsborough Plant Turkey Day game.
This is the Turkey Day game, and you know we talked to our friend Phil Morgan from the Tampa Bay Times the other day, and he was telling us
We
that
did.
he grew up in Miami, and there was also a game that rivaled this game
Oh,
here.
really?
Sounded
There was
like
two
it,
games. There
yeah.
was Edison High School and Miami High
Yes.
that were the equivalent to Hillsborough and Hillsborough and Plant,
Yep.
and they played a traditional game in the Orange Bowl,
And they filled it up.
and they filled it up.
And we
So,
have a video that we're going to show eventually with Ralph Lazara's video of the Turkey Day game.
Beautiful.
So
we
that's
can't
coming
wait
too.
for that. Now, this is Lowry Park. We saw this image just a
great
little
show.
while ago.
Yeah.
That roller coaster, there wasn't much to it, Stevie, but you know what?
was
We didn't
fun.
need much.
It was
No, we
our
didn't need
roller
much.
coaster.
We didn't need much, man. It was our. Don't you talk about my roller coaster like that. That's my roller
Great
coaster.
shot. And there, look at that.
Now, how about this? The world's largest escalator.
Yep.
Going to
The
brewery.
world's largest escalator. And at one point in time, This was a thrill ride.
Oh yeah, that was kind of scary. As a
Okay,
matter
now
of
I'm just
fact,
going to
for a
go back. I'm
little
going to
kid.
digress for a minute and say, what kind of world were we living in when an escalator could be a thrill ride?
Very slow roller coaster.
I'm just telling you that we were living in a different time.
Yeah, and look at all that open land.
But don't you
behind
talk
there.
about my escalator.
That's right.
Because I will fight you tooth and nail.
That's my escalator.
That's right. That's Busch Gardens, where Steve worked for 19 years, and he still wishes he worked there today.
Or 17.
TVT.
17 years. Felt like 19. This is WTVT Studio, Big 13, Channel 13, and its inception, probably 1956, 55, 56, when it first opened up, and all of us were raised on this wonderful, wonderful TV station. All of us.
And I love the next
We've got a caller on line 5. We don't want to neglect anybody. We're down
Yeah,
to the
we
last
probably
10
should
minutes
take
of our
a
show.
call.
I can't believe it's almost over. Stevie, did we get through almost
No,
all
we
of
have
the
just a couple more here.
All right, let's
So
get the
we'll do
caller,
call
and
then
then we'll
go
come right back. Caller, thank you so much for your patience. We're glad you waited. You're on the air with the Tampa Natives Show. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Robert Gonzalez.
Robert.
Hey, Robert,
Hi,
thanks for
Robert.
waiting, man. We appreciate that.
That's okay. Hey, I have so many great memories of Tampa, and I remember my mother telling me a lot of stories, and my father also, about growing up in Ybor City. And, you know, my ancestors, they were cigar workers, and my mother used to tell me that they used to go every Saturday night walking up from up 7th Avenue, up one side, crossing the street and walking back up the other side constantly, you know, and that was, you know.
The place to see and be seen,
Yeah.
as they say, huh?
That's right.
And a time
And
you
you're
could do
probably
that.
in your
yeah.
Sunday go to meeting clothes. You probably had your best stuff on, and it was probably a really chulo time to be out there on 7th Avenue walking up and down.
That's right. And do you know what was between Al Lopez Field and 20th Century Drive-In?
You're going to put me on the spot like that?
Good
You're going to
job,
talk to me
Robert.
like that?
Was it Golden Triangle?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what was in between there. Biff Burger, because that was the greatest hamburger joint in the world. Am I right or wrong?
Oh, it was great.
Am I right?
I mean, yeah, Kerry.
Well, I'll give myself a bell ring. What a lucky guess.
Yeah, and right next to Biff Burger, there was a little putt-putt golf course.
Oh, you know what?
Amazing.
You're
And you
right.
speak of Putt-Putt
Yeah.
Golf Course. I didn't mention this earlier, and I hope that the nice lady who, Ellie Peasley, is watching, because Scott Peasley, my friend, told me his nana used to work at the golf course that was across the street from Lowry Park at Fantasia Land. Remember Fantasia
yes,
Land?
Yeah.
Remember the golf course across the street from Lowry Park, Putt-Putt?
I was there several times.
They had two courses, one that was more difficult than the other, an A course and a B course. One was more challenging than the other. But anyway, I digress. Robert, we got about 5 minutes to go, Papa. We got to give away some Bolita drawings. Can we get your number?
36.
36.
36. And,
Is it taken?
and what night would be best for you to watch us in replay?
Oh, that's good.
Probably, you know, any night, like around 8 o'clock, that would be good because they.
Okay. Any night, Saturday at 9 o'clock. We'll put you down for Saturday at 9.
All right.
Okay.
Thank
seems
you,
to say
Robert.
Saturday's
Thank
the
you and
day.
Carrie for being great fans. We love you.
I love you too. And Redland is what I was.
Oh, yeah.
Redsland was on the
Redsland.
other side. Oh, you're right. No, it was between. You're right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, you got me. You got me, Robert. There's a bell ring for getting me. And that doesn't happen on this show too often, okay?
All right.
Thank
Good
you,
on
Papa.
you, Robert.
See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
It's amazing. Everybody's
Our great
picking-
fans. Our great
Yeah.
fans.
Yes.
Our loving fans at the Tampa Native Show.
I find it unusual that everybody's picking Saturday night, 9 o'clock.
We got less than 5
Yes,
minutes to
how
go.
about
Okay,
that?
let me hold up real quick here. If you'll bring me in on that one shot, zoom in on me there, big fella. I just want to hold up this CD that was donated by a Tampa native who lives currently in Birmingham, Alabama. He's up there, Ziggy Louise. Ziggy, thank you so much for donating this wonderful CD that somebody's going to walk away with tonight. Ziggy's a great Tampa native. He's a career musician and a jazz man, and he's up there creating this wonderful music. We're going to give that away tonight. What else are we going to give away
Blues.
tonight?
Isn't he
Blues
playing
man. He's a
blues?
blues man. What else are we going to give away tonight? Stevie, let's give away
Here we go.
wonderful
Joe
bottle.
and Sons olive oil.
Yeah, of Joe and Sons olive oil or balsamic vinegar, your choice, but
choice.
you got to go down there to pick it up. And we'll also give away some Caracolillo coffee from Caracolillo Coffee Mills. All right, so we're going to get 3 winners tonight, closest to
Three?
without
Oh,
going
boy.
over. 3 winners.
Wow.
And
Let's
you know what?
do it.
I also want to mention also to Donna Jones, Jim Carney, and Marilyn Messina. I did get your emails, and I did get your Bolita numbers, so we have them marked
All
down.
right, 3 minutes to go.
Yep.
Stevie,
But
grab
I'm gonna-
them quick.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to paste your comments onto the Facebook page.
Please.
And also the website.
First one.
61.
61.
61.
60,
Let's
59,
see.
58, 57, closest to without going over.
I
Dale
believe
Kimball.
that would be Dale Kimball.
All right, Dale Kimball, you're a coffee winner,
Wow.
man. Quickly, quickly.
There we go. We got it. Oops, almost lost it. 43.
43,
42,
41.
Mike Padrina.
Mike Padrina, my big Mike.
Congrats, Mike.
We'll send you the CD because you're not going to come down here to get your olive oil. Here comes the olive oil.
We got to go see him.
Yes, we do.
52.
52.
52.
51, 50, 49.
46, Davian Benito.
Davian Benito, thank you.
He's
All right,
lucky.
Davian, another bottle of olive oil for you. See, you got to call to
Congratulations.
win. Call in to win. Let me just say before we get off the air that it's been a real special treat tonight for us to be with you and sharing these wonderful stories.
Always.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that tomorrow is a special anniversary. You know that those of you that have been watching the show for since its inception know that we lost 2 years ago this June a dear, dear friend of the show and really somebody that was close to Sally and I. He was like
He
a
was
big
our
brother
guy.
to me. He was our guy. And
Yeah.
Big Cracker, we know we don't know where you are. We know you stepped
know
out of
we're-
this
that you're
dimension
still
and you
helping.
stepped into another
Yeah.
one. But your hat is here with us on the set tonight, and
It
you're
is.
always with us. We always feel your spirit close by. We love you. We miss you.
We do.
And what I wouldn't give to go to the beach one more time with you, big fella.
Just one more time would be great.
Happy birthday tomorrow, okay? 61 tomorrow. Gosh, I think about him and I get all
I
sad.
know,
and
me
weepy.
too.
But
I
I'll
wasn't
try
ready
not
for
to.
that.
Okay, happy birthday tomorrow, Big Mike.
Those are fun
Big
times
Cracker.
at the beach.
Those were
They
great
were.
times, man. And
Wonderful.
nobody loved our show more than he did.
Nope.
We wished Bella a happy birthday.
Yes, we did.
We made a shout out
Happy birthday again.
to call out to all dragons, Stevie.
And also be sure to check out TampaNativeShow.com.
There you go.
We're on Facebook also and on the website. And comments you may have, put them
Yes.
on the comments page on the website too.
Leave us some
One
comments.
more thing before we get out of here, and we got about a minute to go. Bob Gomez, we got your email a little bit late before we got to the show tonight. Give me a call, reach out to me on Facebook, and we'll get together and talk about that. But we did get your email. We didn't want you to think that we didn't see it tonight earlier. Gosh, let me just say,
Flew by.
spin
Fun
around
show.
real quick. Get that shot of the booth before we get out of here, real quick. There's everybody, Damien and hello Dory and Audrias waving there.
Thanks,
And
everyone.
Thank you so much, guys. We couldn't do this show without
we
you.
can't.
And Nick Nunez, who's in studio with us tonight, and he's working our cameras for us. Let me just say, glasses up, everybody.
guys.
Mugs up. I know we got about 15 seconds to go, I'm guessing. All right, here we
15.
go. On
Right
behalf
on.
of Tampa Steve and the 15-Minute Girl, as always, thank you for being our wonderful fans. I'm Mario Nunez. Salud.
Salud.
And
And
happy
happy
days.
days.
We love you, Tampa.
Yes, we do.
See you next week.
Bye-bye now.
Back when we were younger and everything seemed new, we used to have a lot of fun, yes we did, no matter what we do. Sleepy days, long summer nights, going anywhere we please, with love that I could call my own, love that I've always known, the city that I call my home, a home from which I never roam. This love affair was meant to be. I love her and she loves me. I remember Tampa, oh, she remembers me. She remembers me. I remember, yeah, yes I do. Oh, I remember, yeah, me and you. I'm a Tampa native, Tampa native, can't you see? I will share my story with you to preserve its history.
All right now, don't forget, Thursdays, 7 p.m. on TBCN, home of the Tampa Native Show.